is that time. It is the time for the illustrious G3 by Tim.
And here we go, folks. This one comes from just a random folks person, whatever, on the internet, on the interwebs. This is Modified Cyclone, an old Modified Cyclone, the number 14 doc, had this to say about the whole 2A discussion. The Second Amendment was written before exploding shells existed. Considering that only single-shot muskets where powder and then a shell must be packed into the barrel are actually what the framers referred to. Not rapid-fire arms with exploding shells, since none existed then. Now, in a previous episode, we showed all the different, rapid-fire firearms that were available during our founding. There were plenty of them. That wasn't new technology. Where are they getting the exploding shells stuff? Is this the commentary that we see people talking about? We have Biden out there saying a 9mm just rips lungs out of bodies. We have the 5.56; it just explodes and destroys the meat. You can't even eat the deer. I mean, where's this nonsense coming from? There aren't exploding shells.
No, it's a very interesting. Maybe they're attempting to discuss frangibles, maybe powder. I mean, like
that's what I think they're talking about. But again, they don't know what they're talking about. Right.
But frangibles, Tim.
A tumbling bullet and soft tissue damage or whatever they're calling exploding, which literally every rifle round does. It's not exploding.
Every single projectile does. Hits and then goes blagoo.
Fragmentation, I think, is the word they're looking for.
Fragmentation. Fragmentation, frangible. There's so many Fs. The big question that I have, Tim, and I found this so fascinating because I couldn't get past the first sentence when you read it. They clearly are not familiar with the Napoleon era, where these people called the Hessians carried around grenades, and they were Germans in big fancy hats, and they literally threw huge hunks of metal with gunpowder at people, and then they blew up. They're called grenades. Grenadier is where that word comes from. And that was around, I think it was before the Second Amendment, Tim. I think it was. Yep. And then we had pirates. We had Blackbeard being all crazy with his little, I'm going to throw bombs at you on my ship.
I got something else for you.
There's more?
Mm-hmm. So
it must be the Friday before Christmas.
The first recorded use of an actual exploding shell, like in artillery, was by the Venetians in 1376. So
not the Venetians.
When did the United States come into being? Late 1700s. There's like this
001 AD.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's happened after the 1300s by a few hundred years.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
But they didn't have exploding shells. But the founding fathers didn't know what the Venetians were up to. Yeah, they just didn't know.
They didn't know.
They weren't students of history. They just didn't know.
No. Yeah, and they definitely were not coming right out of the Renaissance, and they definitely did not have an understanding of rationalism, and they definitely did not understand humanism and science expansion. They definitely didn't know any of those things. No. None of those things were occurring around that same time.
They're basically the same thing as a Neanderthal and a powdered wig. I mean, they were just knuckle dragging cave dwellers. They were very simple people. They just didn't know what they were talking about. They had no idea.
Of layers of clothes. Yeah. Lots of layers of clothes, like 8 layers.
Come on, Ben Franklin stand out in a thunderstorm with a key tied to a kite. What kind of idiot does that?
What kind of dum-dum?
Oh, anyway.
I tell you what.
All right.
You're right.
We hope you guys enjoyed the Goofy Gun Grabbers and the whole segment. We hope you have a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, but we'll see you before the New Year. Thanks for watching Second Legacy, and we'll talk to you guys soon.